going on, you guys? Today we're going to be going over my weekly outlook for the week. We're going to be taking a look at a few pairs so that you guys can get an idea of one, what I look for in the market, and just two, how overall how I analyze the market, and see if you can take some pieces of my strategy and implement it into your own. Because at the end of the day, I just want to be able to create some value that when it comes time for you to jump into the GlobalCap FX online academy and course, you know exactly how I teach, exactly how you'll be able to absorb and learn from it, and then be able to implement it and start securing more bags. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first one we're gonna be looking at is going to be GBPAUD. This is actually one of my favorite pairs to trade. Overall, first things first, we want to understand the direction of the trend. Overall, we have an uptrend. And then at the same time here, if you look over in this area, there is a possibility that we are creating a lower high situation. This one being the ultimate high, and then this being a lower high in comparison to that. And then you have lower lows like that. So we have somewhat of a channel going down here. We're in the daily time frame. So I currently have my most immediate line of resistance being here, where price created some liquidity, gave you a market rejection candle, and then reversed. So there is a little bit of a possibility that price will come into this general region where, if you were to get in, where I'm anticipating to get in, it will be roughly a 94 pip take profit with a 34 pip stop loss. Now, that's about almost a 3 to 1 risk to reward, so it's not bad, but I'm gonna see if I can get something up in this area here where this horizontal box is before I get into the market. Let's go back to the 4-hour and continue showing you what I like to see before I get into the market. Now, by the way, guys, the amount of support and feedback that I've been getting from you guys in the comments of my videos, greatly appreciate it. I love interacting with you guys, no matter where you guys are at. Let me know, where exactly you saw some potential, content that you can probably implement, man, because there's hella money out there, and I don't want to be the only one getting it. A couple of days ago, I just closed out for the month with my FTMO account. I made about 9,000. I made 13,000 and some change in overall profit, but on a 70% split, got about $9,300. So, like I said, man, if you can find some pieces of my strategy here and be able to implement it into your strategy. So I don't know if you have an FTMO account or if you have one of those other prop firms that are offering capital once you prove that you can trade. Take a piece of the strategy and use it. But at the end of the day, it's really up to the psyche of an individual. You can go to any YouTube channel and try to critique or improve your technical analysis on the chart. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a teacher that can help you solidify and fortify your mentality when it comes to day trading, then you'll just continue to lose because you'll fuck around and find a great entry, and for some reason the market decides to go in the opposite direction, and you want to get out because you have that fear, right? That fear of losing out, because that's what the markets do. The markets want to feed on your fear. They want to feed on your worry of missing out on some profits. They want to feed on your worry of losing money and being in drawdown. They want you to fear that. They want you to be afraid of that. And that's where I come in. I want to be able to teach you the mentality of being able to trade. There's one thing of being able to locate solid areas of entry, but it's a whole other thing to be able to really lock in on that mentalities piece, because that's 90% of it. All right, so uh, like I said, right here, there is some potential to have price come back down to this area and then create some resistance. And you might see something like this where it bounces like that, and then it'll do this, create a higher low, and then continue up on its way, right? It could do that. It's a possibility. But in the meantime, most immediate time frames, I see a push down, see a big push down, and then I see a correction right here in my horizontal box. And then you have some market liquidity and some rejections right here and right here and right here. So that to me looks like higher lows. So what I'm looking for is I don't want to get in the market when you're going in the sideways motion. What you're going to want to do is wait for it to break out, and then maybe a retest, and then you get in here. Or maybe price will shoot up here and then start giving you some more higher lows like this. And this is where you get in. This is the area. This horizontal box right here, this is where you get in. And then you collect your money. And the best part is when you're patient like that and you don't get into the market when you're going sideways like this, then you avoid you avoid more often not being in drawdown. And I've had plenty of time. I've been doing this for 6 years, and I can tell you right now, like when I was first starting and I was brand new, even a year, 2 years in, like there were nights where I would stay up all night, guys, until 4 a.m. the next day, and then I had work at 7:30. So like there have been nights where I had to do that, and it was specifically because I was not patient and I didn't let the market do its thing and put me in a more profitable area of entry, i.e., for example, this area right here. So be patient. Be patient. Let's look at another one. That one's a cluster right now. All right. So there has been some sentiment that the U.S. market could be seeing some bullish continuations. Due to some news outlets, interest rates, and also, employment has been relatively steady. So the U.S. dollar is looking relatively strong. And from a technical standpoint, that was fundamental. From a technical standpoint, let's look at it in the weekly really quick. Okay. All right. So you have your ultimate low, I would say right here. Like that. Then you have your price action areas right there. And then price, whenever it comes into this area here, again, history likes to repeat itself. Whenever price gets into this area, price likes to go where? At the very least, price would go here. Okay. So that's what I see at the moment. Okay. The only way that I would really look, if I went down to the daily, the only way that I would really look for price to go short and to go down is if price broke below If price broke below this area here, I would consider it. But until then, I'm not a fan. So let's get rid of that real quick. So overall, I see uptrend right here, just in this immediate daily worth of data. You have your supply, your demand zone right here. There's a lot of floating trades where people were thinking that it would continue going on the downside. There were traders that were thinking that this was just going to continue down, and it just continued to float. A lot of spikes and wick rejections here in this area, and then price gradually decided to ascend back up. Now you have higher low situations. You got new levels of support, and then you got another higher low right there. So what I'm thinking is that price, let me go down to the 4-hour. I believe that price is going to continue up over the span of this week. But first, we would need for it to come down to we need to have it come down to this area right here. And for those of you guys who do candle formations, this right here is somewhat of a W formation, right? And then it shot up. So what I see right here in this area is the neckline of the W. And usually when price breaks out of that W, it'll eventually come back down and retest the neckline of that W. So let me just do a W right here real quick. Okay. So price will sometimes come back down like this. Back down to the W. This is the neckline right here. That's the neckline right there. So price will usually like to come back down to this area and retest and then continue back to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Is that I want price to come down in this area, and what I'll do is with tradingview.com, I can put a couple of alerts here. I'll put one right here for potential area of demand, and then this will be my ultimate retest zone. So I would put another alert right there, and I would just wait for it to show up right there, guys. Like there's no point in getting into the market ahead of schedule and putting yourself in a situation where you're in drawdown all night and all day worrying about whether or not it's going to come back into profit. Just wait for it to get to those areas. Those areas are support and resistance, supply and demand. If you haven't watched my last video about support and resistance, supply and demand, go ahead and watch that, and I do a little bit better of an illustration and explanation of what I look for in those 4 things. So make sure you go ahead and take a look at that. I'll actually put it right there. I'll put the link right there, and just go take a look. Let me know what you think. All right, so what we got here? We have EURJPY. Even this out here. So I think this is going to continue down, and the reason why is because for those of you guys who like candle formations, this could be a head and shoulder situation. Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders, for those of you guys who don't know, you have a shoulder, you have a head, come back down, then you got another shoulder, and then you descend back down. Okay, that's a head and shoulder. And based off what the market is showing me in the weekly, there are quite a few rejection candles, guys. What I mean by rejection candles is that you have this candle right here, strong movement back up to my horizontal line, and then the very next candle comes all the way back down and pretty much engulfs 75% of that candle. So it's essentially rejected. And what I would look for is I would get a little bit more precise with my line here and put it at the body, and then I will go down to the daily. It's all about really just zooming in a little bit further each time and getting a little bit more specific with your levels. Okay. And then as you can see, guys, the horizontal line that I made in the weekly, it looks a lot nicer in the daily now that I have gotten it up to the top of this body here, which is 130.200 roughly. And then every time after that, came back down this, and then these candles right here gave you some rejection candles here, and then came down. Same thing here. This candle made a strong push up, tap that horizontal level, and then the very next candle completely engulfed it, which is essentially a rejection. So what I think is going to happen is, you know, we'll see something along the lines of a channel like this. So what we're going to want to see is price to do some type of a correction. Oops. Some type of a correction like this. Something of this nature, right? And come back into this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this area here. Go down to the 4-hour time frame. Get a little bit more precise with my area. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that there. And then if I was to get in this area, okay, so first this is a 100 pip move. So if you do want to get into that, by all means, get into it. Just make sure you know what you're doing. Like I said, this is somewhat of a descending channel going downwards. So if you want to get into this pair, just look for a signal. In my opinion, if you wanted to get in on a buy, I'd probably get in somewhere right here. But don't just immediately get in. I would wait for like some wicks to tap this area maybe. Maybe wait for it to shoot up and then create a higher low, and then it'll go up. Wait for something like that where you have higher lows, but don't just jump in. You know what I'm saying? Wait for some wicks. Wait for some wicks. Wait for a higher low. And then once it gets back into this area up top, you would set your stop loss above the impulse. And impulse is essentially the actual move where it went down. You set it above. You set it above your levels, your impulse level. Now what I'm doing here is that I'm putting it above this, and I'm putting it above this area right here too. So I'm putting my stop loss above that. So that's 45 pips. And then if I took it back down to this target, it would be about a 145 pip move if I decided to get in this general area of my horizontal line right here. So what I'll do, so I'm not just gonna, watch this shit all day. I'm gonna set some alerts. I'm gonna set an alert right here, and I'm gonna set alert I'm going to set an alert right here. And we're going to see what happens. So what I'll do is I'm going to stop right here. And in the next 1 or 2 days, I'll make another video to go over, what took place in the market for these 3 pairs that we just went over. We went over GBPAUD, USDCAD, and EURJPY. And also what I'll do is that I will take a screenshot of every single one of these charts here. And if you go to the link in the description, you'll see my free Discord group chat where you and I can communicate any time of the day, no matter where you guys are. If you guys want to, copy a clip of your technical analysis and your markups and go ahead and share it into your Discord. Here's the Discord right here. You have your free chat. And then for those of you guys who are registering into the online course, you would verify and then ultimately get into the actual course community, which is part of the service. It's not just the course. You also have the private community as well, where I give you a little bit more attention than the free chat. So that's that. Go ahead, take a look at the description, jump in, let's hang out, let's kick it. Let's make some money if you can see some good stuff with my markups that I decided to share. And let's stay connected. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, my email is josh@globalcapfx.com. My social media, my Instagram, I only have 2 Instagrams. It's Addicted to the Game and GlobalCap FX. Those are the only 2. So if you see anything else out there, disregard it. I never ask for any type of cryptocurrency payments, nothing like that. So if you see it, ignore it, block it, report it, all of that. Do not mess with that because that's not me. All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and leaving comments on this video so that you and I can interact. And I'll see you guys in that free group chat community. All right. See you later.